Okay, hey guys, my name is Anthony, and in today's video we're going to be doing another challenge, and today's challenge is actually a recommendation. Actually, my wife came up with it when we was just talking about random videos to make. So basically what this video is going to be about is it's going to be me doing a random setup. So in the previous video that I did in terms of challenges, which I'll link at the top right hand side of the screen, I did a random gear challenge and tried to get the fastest lap. This time I'm actually going to be trying to just win the race, but with a completely randomized setup. So I'm actually gonna do more than that as well. I'm actually gonna start randomizing pretty much everything to do with this challenge, just to see what basically can come out of it. So the first thing that we're gonna randomize is the car that I'm in. So obviously there's 10 cars on the grid, and I'm gonna pull out my phone here and actually start screen recording. Right, so I've just got the screen recording now. So I've got a random number generator, and I'm about to generate a number. Whatever number it is, I have to choose that car in order to do this challenge in. So let's do it. Okay, so I got 4, so that's going to be the Renault. So if I just stop that now. Right, so yeah, I'm going to be in the Renault. I'm going to drive as Daniel Ricciardo. Why not? Obviously he's just recently basically signed with McLaren. He's going to be driving with McLaren in the 2021 season, I believe. So yeah, next I've chosen a track that I wanted to do on this personally, and basically it's just going to be a track that I am pretty familiar with, and I'm pretty sure everyone's pretty familiar with. I'm just going to do it on Melbourne, Australia, and see if I can win a race with a randomized setup. Okay, so we're going to be facing 105% this race. Yeah, I'm going to do a 25%, no formation lap, no qualifying. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to randomize the weather, just so that obviously, again, as many things are randomized as possible. So we're going to get into it. So I'm going to leave it here quickly and skip over to when I'm in the car ready to do the race. Okay, so this is probably going to be the longest part of the video, where I'm actually randomizing the setup, because I'm going to actually randomize the setup in front of you guys. And how it's going to work is, I don't really have a lot of time today, so I'm only going to do a couple of attempts at this, and basically every time I do an attempt I'm going to randomize the setup again. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to do a regular strategy, and nothing's going to really change there, don't really care about that stuff. But here's where things start to get interesting. So obviously we've got the general car setup stuff that we can change. So I'm only really going to change the aerodynamics, the suspension geometry, the transmission and suspension, and brakes. The tires, we're not really going to mess with the tires. We'll just leave the tires as it is. But the rest of the stuff we're going to randomize. So if I quickly pull up my phone again so I can record the screen so you guys can see. This was another actual recommendation from my wife as well, because in the previous video I wasn't actually able to show you which gear I'm going into. So I'm going to record the screen, and we're going to do 1 to 11 since that's what the wings are. So the front wing arrow is going to be 6, so it just stays the same, and the rear wing arrow is going to be 4. So we're going to have a 6-4 setup here. I've never actually had a setup just in general on this game where the rear wing arrow is actually lower than the front wing. But going up to the transmission now, so we've got 50 to 100%. So what I'm going to do is minimum 50 and maximum 100, and then whatever it chooses is what percent I go on to. Okay, so 81% for the on throttle. I've never had it that high before. And for the off throttle we're going to have 80. Right, next is the suspension geometry. Okay, so I can't really have minus here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do... Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it sort of 1 to 5. And then whatever the number is, I will move the sort of the clicks. I'll move the click either left or right, however many positions it goes. So okay, so 3. So we're gonna move this to the right hand side. So 1, 2, 3. For the next one, the rear camber. Okay, it's 3 again. I just pressed the generate button and it stayed the same. So 1, 2, 3. For the front toe, 2, so we're going to go to the left. 1, 2. And for the rear toe, it was 2 again, so I'll just do 2 again. Suspension. Okay, let's go back to 1 to 11. And for the front suspension, we're going to have 10. For the rear suspension, we're going to have 5. This is going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see how the car feels, to be honest with you guys. The front roll bar, going to have 4. And the rear roll, anti-roll bar, sorry, we're going to have... Okay, I clicked it again and it did 4 literally twice. So the front ride height, we're going to have 1. And for the rear, we're going to have 8. Okay, so this is not really going to be a slippery setup. We're going to do 50 again. 50 to 100. So 92 brake pressure, Jesus Christ. That's a lot. And we're going to do 50 to 70. And we've got 61. So there we go. So that's the front brake bias, and that's it. That's going to be our setup for the first challenge. And as I said, the tires, we're not really going to mess with the tires. I don't really care for messing with the tires, really. It's more about everything else. So I'm going to do this 25%. Maybe I should do 5%, honestly, if I've not really got a lot of time. So if I don't win against these guys, which I highly doubt I'm going to, for the next try, I'm only going to do 5 laps, because as I said, I've not really got a lot of time. So let's get into the race and see how I can do against 105% with a randomized setup. Simon's got a pretty good start there. We didn't really get the best start. We did have a little bit of wheel spin. Oh, whoa, okay. This, honestly, I don't even know how to describe how this feels. Right, we're just gonna dive down Norris here. Manages to hold his place. That's pretty good. Don't know who's on my right there. I think it's Raikkonen. Oh, this 92 brake pressure is really getting to me. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to dive down Norris's right hand side there, especially when we're stuck on simulation damage. Oh no, we're so slow. We're so slow in a straight line that even the Alfa Romeo is trying to get past us. Oh, went a bit too deep there. It's so easy to lock the car up because we've got 92 brake pressure with 61 front brake bias. So locking up the car is probably the easiest thing we could do. I honestly, generally don't know how to describe how this feels. It feels really weird. If you guys really want to see how it feels to have this setup on, just go back into the video, sort of pause the video, and then basically go into a race and make this setup yourself just to see how it feels if you're using a wheel. Obviously, if you're using a controller, probably not going to get the same sort of feeling. But yeah, Norris is gone. Norris is gone with the rest of them there, so I don't think that we have the sort of straight line speed in order to keep up with them. But we are pulling away from Raikkonen, so we're doing okay in terms of that. Oh, surprised we didn't get a warning there for kind of corner. Must have been just on the limit. Taking a bit of getting used to get used to this. Oh, go a bit wide there, but it's taking a bit of used to get used to this sort of setup. As you can see, we lock up the tires again. Oh, there we go. Damaged wing.
Be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage.
Oh, I'm not going to restart it because it was my own fault there.
When you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone.
And as our first warning, we were already pretty slow. Now we're going to be losing probably half a second to a second per lap. We do a pretty decent job of keeping Raikkonen behind us. And it's coming on. Oh no! Oh, yeah. I think I just turned in a bit too soon there. So what I'm gonna do is that attempt is pretty much a bust. I'm gonna restart it and just do 5 laps and see if I can beat them with just 5 laps, because that is ridiculous, especially on simulation damage. So I'm gonna randomize the setup again. Actually, I'll let you guys see the setup after I've already randomized it. Okay, so we're back now, and you may see that there's something different, that we're in a different car. Obviously, as I said, for each attempt we're going to pretty much randomize as much things as possible. So I randomized the car and we got Toro Rosso, so even further behind than you would in the Renault. But coming into the setup now, if I just go to the aerodynamics, as you can see, I got 1-2 wings. So, you know, in terms of that, we're going to be pretty fast, but in terms of the corners, this is probably going to be a nightmare. For the transmission, we've got 84 on the on throttle and 92 on the off throttle. For the suspension, I did the 1-5 thing, where if I did between 1 and 5, and whatever number I got, I'll do that amount of clicks left and right. So we got 5 clicks to the left, to the right on the front camber, and 3 clicks to the right on the rear camber. Then we've got 5 clicks to the left on the front toe, and 1 click to the left on the rear toe. For the suspension, this is probably the craziest sort of suspension setup that I think you're ever gonna see on the F1 2019 game, even F1 2020 to be fair. But we've got 7-9 suspensions with 5-3 anti-roll bar and 10-7 ride height. You don't even have that sort of ride height in the wet conditions, so this is definitely going to be very interesting. And for the brakes,
holy Jesus, what is that? What the fuck is that?
yeah, we're pretty much going to be locking up in every corner. We've got 95 brake pressure with 67 front brake bias, so that's going to be lock-up city basically. But yeah, let's get into the race and see just how well we can do. Five lights and we're out. Got a good initial start. Oh dear, yeah. Every single corner we're just going to be locking the car up pretty much. I'm basically going to have to... Oh, sorry Gasly. We're basically going to have to feather the brakes. Oh, the understeer is incredible. The understeer is absolutely incredible on this car. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to feather the brakes there. I don't know what the hell that half-hearted move was, but it was something. Oh my god. Right, I definitely encourage you guys to make this setup. Just pause the video, go through my setup that I did there, and then just try it out for yourself, because the understeer on this car is incredible. Oh, they seem to be going back rather than forwards. So let's see if we can actually keep in front of the Williams here. The fact that I'm saying that is kind of surprising in itself. Oh, that was a huge moment there. I'm generally surprised I even managed to get the car slowed down enough for that corner. Same for that one actually. I'm actually doing alright. Not looking up the car as much now. I say that and then lock up very next corner, even though it wasn't a big lock up, it was still a lock up. Oh. Okay, how did we not get a corner cut there? I have got this on strict. I'm actually interested to look at my brake application after I've finished recording this, just to see exactly how much I had to, like how little I had to put on the brakes in order to actually get the car slowed down. Okay, this is our opportunity to get past Raikkonen here. Delve down his inside. Get the car slow down. Lovely. Okay, I don't know what's going on between Raikkonen and the Williams. But either way, we've got the move done. Giovinazzi, you're next. Oh, massive lock up there. You don't understand how little on the brakes I have to be in order to get the car slowed down without locking up these tyres. And the understeer is, I know I've said it multiple times, basically a broken record here, but the understeer, it's just completely flabbergasted me. That's the only word I can really think of. Somehow we managed to get in Antonio Giovinazzi's DRS even with that lockup. We do a 26-1. Oh no. I think Raikkonen's going to get the move on me here. I'm going to have to defend. This corner's a lot harder than it looks, especially since I basically have to sort of tap the brakes in order to get the car slowed down. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna quickly pause here, surely. Okay, you guys see that, right? I've got the corner cutting string. Can't even say the word. But either way, I've got the corner cutting on strict here. But yeah, I'm not getting any warnings. This is confusing. The only thing I can think of is maybe the game thinks that I'm going so slowly that it's not registering as me actually gaining time by cutting that corner. I have no idea. Okay, there's a huge pile of cars here. So I'm not sure if maybe the guy who's just leading it has some damage. It looks like it's Racing Point or the Haas there.
This is your final lap of the race. You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa. Okay, that was terrifying. That's probably the most terrifying 3 seconds that I've had on F1 2019 so far. I definitely think I'm going to go for one more try on this. Just because this is actually a lot of fun. See maybe next time if we can get a good car. Can actually get points in this, because we're not going to get points in this. Oh. I think I'm going to lose my place here. Come on. Ah. Oh, Racket had managed to get me last corner.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Okay, that was a lot of fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one more time, because as I said, today I've just not got a lot of time. And then I'll leave the video there. So I'm going to skip over to my final attempt at doing this. Okay, so we're back to the final attempt, and this time in terms of choosing the actual car, we actually got quite lucky, and we got a Ferrari there. But looking at the setup, I guess we got lucky in some parts and unlucky in some parts. For the aerodynamics, we've got 4-3 wings. For the transmission, we've got 60 on throttle differential and 70 off throttle differential. For the suspension geometry, we got 4 clicks to the right for the front camber, I think 1 click for the right in the rear camber, and then I want to say 3 clicks for the front toe and 2 clicks for the rear toe. For the suspension, we've got 4-7 front and rear suspension. We've got 2-8 anti-roll bar, and then we've got 5-1 ride height. I've never had a ride height looking like that before, so that's going to be interesting to see if we get quite a lot of oversteer. And then for the brake pressure, this is probably, believe it or not, the weirdest combination of brake pressure and front brake bias that I've had. We've actually got 65% brake pressure, which is obviously very, very low, and then we've got 65% front brake bias as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how that sort of feels. So yeah, let's get into it and let's see what we can do with this last attempt. We've got a Ferrari, so hopefully we can actually get points in this one. So yeah, let's just see what we can do. Okay, going into that first corner, it just felt as if the car didn't really want to stop. Okay, okay. It was a close one. Oh! Just trying to go for a little switch back there on Hamilton. Okay, the oversteer is present, I will say that. The oversteer is definitely present, but I think it's manageable. Okay, stomping down on the brakes definitely feels weird because I basically had to feather the brakes in the last one. Oh, the oversteer is very present going through the S's here.
Alright, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
Now, if you've watched, if you've watched some of my previous videos of like setups and stuff like that, you will have noticed that when it comes to setups, I personally don't like cars that are more oversteery. So, you know, having to drive this car when it's got so much oversteer is definitely going to be a challenge because I really don't like oversteery type cars. I really like cars with a bit more understeer. Even though it's got quite a lot of oversteer, it does turn in very nicely, so you know, I'm definitely happy about that. I don't really know what's better. Is it better to have more understeer or better to have more oversteer? For me, it's better to have more understeer. But to be fair, this oversteer does feel quite nice in terms of turning in. It's very, very responsive. Oh, these S's are gonna be a very, very big challenge in the next couple of laps. Okay, I want to say that because of the amount of like oversteer we've got, the car's actually too responsive. Because I'm sort of using turning point references that I would usually use, and with the amount of turning, it's just kind of throwing me off board a little bit here. Somehow we managed to get 24.3. Okay, went down the gears a little bit too slowly there, I don't know why. Right, so we've got Alex Albon behind us here. He's doing a pretty decent job of keeping up with the Ferrari. Obviously in the corners he's going to be a lot better than me. But to be fair, with the responsiveness of this Ferrari, it sort of rivals the responsiveness of the Red Bull. Okay, that felt quite nice. I think I'm starting to pick up on how to do the S's there with this amount of oversteer. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh.
You have a lot of wing damage.
Okay, yeah. Well. Okay, well this is just a huge pile up. Oh. Alright, well I think I'm just gonna retire there. Okay. Right, so I'm gonna end it here. I'm just gonna wait for the sort of outro to do its thing, and then I'll probably get back to you guys with the outro. Okay guys, so yeah, that was honestly a lot more fun than I expected it to be. Definitely thank you to my wife for actually coming up with the idea. It was when she said to do random setups, it's sort of like got a little light bulb in my head where it was like, I've never actually seen anyone do that before, so it would be nice to see, you know, just exactly how it would sort of pan out. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, sort of generating random setups and just going for broke there. So if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be posting more of these actually, because that was generally a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna post another episode of this sort of challenge. I don't know when. I don't know if it will be in the next coming weeks. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. If you want to see more challenges like this, or if you want to see tutorials, I've got a bunch of tutorials. I may leave that on the top right hand side of the screen right now. And I've got a bunch of league race highlight videos and live streams that you guys can go and watch as well. So yeah, cannot speak. I guess I'll see you guys in the next video.